Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie podcast.
Oh, just this fascinates me, these stories, and we know that death is one of the few certainties in life. But
Light showers, light topics.
for these six people, they have experienced it and come back. So they're explaining what it was like dying and coming back to life.
Do you believe in life after death?
Do you believe in life after death? If this has happened to you before, if you've died before, what did you see? 13, 24, 10. You're obviously still with us. Congratulations, you've won. What do you want, 100 grand or 100 in the hand?
Doesn't matter. I've got something worth more than that. Another day on this planet.
Oh, wow.
Put a price on that, mate.
Well, it would change your outlook, wouldn't it?
Well, you'd hope so.
Yeah.
Because I think even when people are diagnosed with particular things or certain things in life happen, it does make you think, how am I going to do things differently?
Yeah.
This is a second chance for me. We've covered so many of those stories where not only have they just died on the operating table and come back after a few minutes with a story to tell, what about those poor people who are usually from Colombia and they wake up 3 weeks later knocking on the
coffin.
The coffin. Get out of the coffin, run across the road and get hit by a bus. Yeah, back into the coffin.
It was really your time.
Yeah. Okay, so Dean underwent major surgery. During the surgery, he bled out, causing him to die for several minutes.
Dino.
I woke up. Dino, wake up. I woke up in what looked like space, but there wasn't any stars or light. I wasn't floating, so to speak.
So how do you know it's space if there's no stars?
Well, good call. You asked Dino. I was just there, said Dino. I wasn't hot or cold, hungry or tired, just a peaceful, neutral kind of thing. I knew there was light and love somewhere nearby, but I had no urge or need to go to it right away, said Dino. I remember thinking over my life, but it wasn't like a montage, more like I was idly flipping through a book and snippets stood out here and there. Whatever it was, it changed my thoughts on a few things. I am still afraid to die, but I am worried about what happens after that.
Dino.
It's pretty good.
You know, I had a friend and she was only 6 years old and she fell overboard on a boat and she drowned but came back to life. And she talks about in that mere 6 years that she lived, she has a clear view of her life flicking back over the days.
Really? How old is she now?
She is about 75.
And she remembers that?
She remembers it and still sees it clearly from when she was 6.
What about this one? Schneider was thrown from his motorbike. He was doing about 90 k's an hour and was medically dead when he was taken to hospital. As he was laying on the road before the ambulance came, he recalled someone he knew encouraging him. Just remember being on the pavement and things slowly went black and it was all quiet. The only reason I didn't fall asleep was because of a bizarre moment when I heard someone yelling, "Ranger up! Get up! Get up!" and they were slapping on my helmet.
Oh, wow.
When I opened my eyes, I saw my brother squatting on the pavement next to me saying, "Get up." He said this was odd because my brother died from an overdose several years ago.
I love those ones. Do you know what? That's up there with when someone passes away and they say, it's not your time yet. They say, I saw this light and a white figure saying it's not your time. I'd have so many questions if someone said that to me if I died. How long you been doing this for, mate?
Yeah.
Like, how long you been sending people?
And why is it up to you? Don't tell me what to do,
and
hey?
who are you? Are you the guy they talk about with the Bible? Is that you?
This one's a good one as well.
I don't think he has time to do that.
Doesn't he?
He's doing other things.
This is a quick review from Kelvin. You want to hear this one?
Yes.
Dying hurts, but death itself is very peaceful. 9 out of 10 would die again.
Would recommend
Well,
it.
Tommy, you've done a nursing course. You know that when you die, it releases a chemical or an element within the brain, so it is a peaceful experience.
Yes, to numb that
yes,
sort of trauma.
something is released, so you have this feeling of, I can only assume it's like a morphine or an endone hit or, some sort of really
we get it. We get it.
heavy
What is it? Isn't
painkiller.
there that drug as well that Joe Rogan talks about? That Will Anderson spoke to us about it as well. That where you
go to the other side.
well, no, you've come out of your body and you look over yourself.
Oh, no thanks.
See, this is that doesn't interest me at all.
No, thank
What
you.
if my sense of direction is really bad? What if I couldn't find my way back into my body?
Oh, you lost.
Kate, you see Kate's just hovering around the wrong body.
No,
That's
it
not
would
me.
be. And my mother
No,
would
I'm
be
over
going, I
here.
told you so. I knew you needed to pay more attention and look out the window when you were being driven around all those years ago. Look what happened. Look what's happened now, Kate.
God, so your mother would be there too,
She
telling
might.
you off
She might be.
again.
13.
No, she doesn't do that.
If this has happened to you before,
Yeah.
if you have died,
What did you see?
what did you see? And how did you come back to life? I'm going through some of these stories here. This lady here said she saw a garden. She went into blackness, fading in and out, and at one point I was staring out at a garden. It wasn't filled with flowers, Kate, just dust and patchy grass. There was a playground with a merry-go-round in the middle and 2 children running around it, a boy and a girl. It's difficult to describe, but I got the feeling I could choose if I wanted to stay or leave, but every time I tried to go back, I was held in place.
Really?
Oh, my God.
I guess some people get to a point in their life too where if it is so peaceful and life outside that moment there's a lot going on, you might accidentally die because you just feel like a rest.
It's like I really like this.
I'm hoping I get to that stage when I'm older, like I'm probably 99, probably 105, I'll be a stayer, but I'll just get to
Yes,
that
you will.
stage.
Well,
could be
You-
65.
just to upset everyone.
Well, I
around
had to
you.
resuscitate you after you died up on stage at that corporate at the weekend.
That's happened a couple of times. But
Kerry
thank
and-
you for the mouth-to-mouth.
Kerry in Edmondson Park. What did you pass away, Kerry?
Well, I don't know if I passed away, but I was definitely, I think, passing over.
Yeah, what happened?
I fainted in the shower, and it was my parents' house, so they had that built-in ledge where they had all the shampoo. So as I went down, I collected the back of my skull. And my eyes rolled back, and I could hear everything going on around because my sister was in the bathroom putting on her makeup, and the screaming, and my mother running down the hallway, and them trying to get me out of the shower, and my mother was slapping me across the face, calling my name. But I felt like I was walking, I don't know whether you'd say a void or a tunnel, and I was walking one direction, but every time she would scream, I would stop. I just remember that sense of confused which way to go. So, as the more I walked towards the darkness, I suppose, the more my mother's voice faded. But then every time I'd stop, and as she became more and more hysterical, apparently another time my eyes opened, but then they rolled back in my head.
God, how scary.
And then I finally turned around and started walking towards where I thought my mother's voice was coming from.
Yeah.
And as I got closer and closer, it got brighter and brighter. And I opened my eyes and obviously came to.
Wow. Was there a moment where you could hear your mum's voice and you said, no, I just want to keep walking away from that?
Look, I was 13 at the time, so maybe that did cross my mind.
Wow.
Kerry, it's
But,
interesting because you hear, and you do see it in the movies or TV shows where someone will be dying or whatever, or they're on the bed, and then the doctor or a loved one will be going, "Don't you leave us!" and yelling at them.
Yeah.
Maybe that does work. That
Oh, look,
brings
I
you
think-
back.
Yeah, look,
Don't go,
I
Kerry.
believe if she hadn't been calling me, I would have kept walking the opposite direction. So I definitely feel like I would have passed over.
Yeah.
Go on, mate.
I mean, we plead with Whipper to leave us every day out the office.
Tommy, that time you fell over and we were there. Tim!
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's-
we need to have a meeting about this after the show and make a pact that if Whipper falls over in the shower when we
not
go to the
resuscitate.
Northern Territory and hits his head, everyone be real quiet.
That is.
Don't leave us. Hey, don't leave us so he can hardly hear you.
Kate, you do not need to come into the
I can-
bathroom if I fall
I
over in
can
the
see
shower.
chicken and chips at the end of the tunnel there.
He's back. He's back.
We pleaded
We
with
got
him very quietly. We were whispering.
We got a dozen donuts.
Michael in Ryde, what happened to you, Mick?
G'day, guys. I remember meeting you blokes down at Bondi Beach when Dingy was in town back in the day.
Oh,
the
Dangy,
world's
wasn't that
shortest
one of
man.
the greatest days ever, Michael? That was the first time he'd seen the
Absolutely.
ocean.
Mate, it was phenomenal. It was just awesome. And anyway, guys, I've had a number of these near-death encounters, first of which I was 15. I grew up riding a skateboard, one of those really, really skinny things, when I reckon I was 4,
Yeah.
flying down the driveway at Beverly Hills where I grew up. Anyway, progressed to a board one morning in the school holidays, January 1990, changed the trucks and deck, went down this steep bitumen bike track
Yeah.
down John Mountford Reserve at Narwee there, Beverly
yeah.
Hills North. And, mate, came off it, smacked the back of my head on the bitumen going around the S-bends at breakneck speed, knocked unconscious. Long story short, mates came down, dragged me up the hill in front of the tennis court.
Yeah.
Mum and Dad could see me from the balcony. They yelled out to me. Apparently I got up and fell back down. They called an ambulance. On arrival to hospital, respiratory system shut down, flatline.
Oh, no way. What did
team
you
and
see?
neurosurgeons on the ready to operate.
What did you see, Mick?
Mate, I just was in a different I can't explain. It's
world.
a different place, different realm.
Was it dark? Was it dark or light, Michael?
It was dark, and then I was saying to Kate earlier, I could have been when I was being like transferred from wherever to ICU, because in ICU for a week.
Yeah.
And but they had a team of nurse students on the ready to operate. I was brought up Catholic. They said if there's anyone to ring them now. They called up my amazing parish priest from Regina Chaley in Beverly Hills, where I went to primary school. Dr. Father William Malone.
Maloney,
Came and gave me my final rites, the anointing of the sick.
Oh, wow.
Said
You
it's
were
now in
gone.
God's hands.
Oh, Mick.
And no medical reason now it came out unscathed.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then just had this really, like, incredible sense of things different, transformed, like just all my senses really heightened. I could hear stuff like miles away. I could just...
You can talk
I
forever.
don't know, I can't explain it. And then 16, I was really fit and I was in a biathlon down at Botany, Botany Bay, and started in the swim leg. All of a sudden, this massive swarm of jellyfish engulfed the swimmers, or the tail end, because I wasn't a strong swimmer, strong cyclist, but not a strong swimmer at the time.
Good info.
Got engulfed. Got engulfed with tentacles all over.
Look out.
Long story, get on the bikes and don't stop,
Long
don't
story
quit.
short, yeah.
Glad you said
Mate, just
tentacles.
started slowing down. I could always take over people, but I started going slower.
Oh, no.
My windpipe started slowing, started struggling to breathe, jumped into the St John's ambulance tent. 45 minutes later, got to hospital. I could barely breathe. Steroid injection. I think they told me 45 minutes would have been very different if I hadn't gotten there.
That's jellyfish.
Then the following year,
Another one.
fatal car accident at 17. My best mate at the time in his mum's new Commodore.
Yeah.
Spun it around left onto Edgbaston Road from
what suburb
Beverly
is that?
Hills.
Yeah, Beverly Hills
again.
Lost control, smashed into the side of a tree, life flashed before my eyes, and the car was like crippled. Counted about 35 cars. It stopped. It was about 10:30 on a Saturday night, wet. So if anyone could lend assistance, we were standing there. It was like in purgatory.
So you've died 3 times, Mick. And
Well, I hadn't technically died in the jellyfish and the...
I knew about a Beverly Hills.
You could have left that one out.
Yeah, I'd leave Beverly Hills, mate, if I was you.
Oh, so damn, I had so many questions.
Riding his skateboard.
Luke Combs has come in.
I thought he would have been riding a horse.
Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcast.com.au.